Run through a quick tutorial of the latest interface of MathJot. When you first open up the calculation page, you will be shown this with this floating window that allows you to start a copy of an existing calculation, or as we like to call Jots. On the left here is a list of your public Jots that we have available. These are free to use calculations. You can start with any of these, or any calculation you yourself have created. Or if you are one of our paid subscribers, you have access to some of the premium Jots in this. But today we're going to start with a blank calculation. You can create an equation by either drag and dropping into the screen from the equation tool, and we will start with L is equal to 10,000, set in 10,000 millimeters as our units to the variable L. Or you can double click and we can say D is equal to L divided by 26 just to get an estimate of depth. And it's always good when you're first asked to click the metric at the bottom or the button at the bottom, and you will see to choose whether you want US or metric or both. We only want metric for this example. Then we're going to use this M over here, which is the Jot library for inserting. And again, it's the same list that you saw at the start of public Jots, your Jots or premium Jots. So we're going to run a search in here. We're going to run a search for UDL, and there's a list of Beam calculations with UDLs applied. So we have Beam, pin, UDL, and I'm just going to drag and drop that into where I want it. If I clicked on it straight, it would open a new tab with a copy of that calculation for you to edit, but we actually want to use it within this existing calculation. So you can see here it's aligned, so we'll just we'll align this all left and just set these to the similar sort of size. So most of these calculations come with predefined variables in there, but they're obviously not the ones you will want to use. And this example we're using units. So I'm just going to go through and add units in. We often don't include units in the actual. We don't because often people don't want to use them directly, and you can just add them in if you want to. When you do units, make sure that you are consistent using units, or consistently don't use units. If you mix some units, some without, you'll get some very interesting results, and it probably won't be what you want. Now here, there's L is redefined. We don't need that, so we'll get rid of this one. And width, we'll just convert that to meters. So now we've got 2 kilonewton meters squared times by the width to give a W of 16 kilonewton per meter onto WL squared upon 8, 200 kilonewton meters. Now I'm going to use a premium Jot here for Rio, and this one here, which is an AS3600 calculation of area of steel required based on a rearrangement of the ultimate moment capacity according to 3600. So we're going to reassign M underscore S to M underscore max, which is the calculation that was used here on WL squared upon 8. Underscore creates a subscript, and the shift 6 gives you a superscript, like a squared or like that. Redefine D, there we go, and then we can see here, so these are now signed. It's pulled out these numbers from above, and we have an interesting number here, which is AS is equal to, well, you can see that 1439 meganewtons, and the reason is because FSY hasn't been yet assigned a unit, and that's what I mean, you'll get interesting results. So you have to make sure your units are consistent, and there, so I put MPa in this, and you see now this is a sensible unit for an area, which is meters squared. It's not necessarily the area we actually want, because it would be nicer if it's in millimeters squared. So A underscore S is equal to, now if I press A, and I press tab, I can scroll down here through the defined variables. I've already started to filter on A, and so it's now given me AS, and I just press enter. If I hit space, type in the word in, space, millimeters, shift 6, 2, so millimeters squared, enter, and I get a new box. When I press enter, it gives me an empty box underneath, and if I want to cancel an empty box, I just press enter and it's cancelled out. So there we have the results in millimeters squared. Now that's a crazy number. so big a number I actually can't read it directly. It's also sort of a couple of 1.4 billion, I think, which is obviously silly. But the reason is because everything has been put in units, but the standard Jot there for the calculation of AS in this situation has, if you can see that, 10 to the power of 6. So it's already doing a unit calculation in the example, because the example was just put in expecting somebody won't have a units defined. So we have to remove that 1 to the power of 6, and then we get a more sensible result once that's removed, because units are defined and recalculated. So if you are doing a conversion of a unit on something that's already doing a conversion on the unit, you will double up your units. So you can see here we now have got AS is 1,439 millimeters squared. So that is what we'll do for our calculation, and I'll just set these up to the same 18, and I'll just move them slightly in so it makes more sense. So now if we put the document title here and we say Beam calc UDL SS Rio required example, and then under keywords I'm going to just call it tutorial, and then I'm going to say Beam. Now file, save. So that's now saved under that example, and if I go into here and I click open, this will go to our library and we will see all of the available calculations or Jots you have: public, premium, my Jots. So under dashboard you have your recently opened Jots, you have your frequently accessed Jots or popular public Jots, and then under your recently opened Jots you can see actually there is our the one we just used, and under my Jots there's a tree view, and you can see how this worked here under tutorial and Beam, which was the keywords we assigned. So every individual word is a subcategory. You can see our calculation. Now if I open this from here, this will edit this directly, and so we can go back and we can make a modification and save the original calculation. However, if we were going to start a new calculation, let's say new document, okay, and I'll just click refresh on the page, we get to this quick start, which creates a safe copy under your Jots, tutorial Beam. If I open up this one, it will create a safe copy, which says, you can see the word is copy here, which allows you to safely edit this without affecting the original calculation. So this could be for a specific project, which is different to the one, the template that you created before. So as a final piece, we can just click on the word header. We can set up description, quick example, and we can update logo or other facts if we wanted. Click off that. And if we click into print, there we go. We now have a working calculation, same answer with the information you put into there, and you can now save that directly as a PDF using your browser if you wanted to do. Okay, thank you very much.